So today we're going to be talking about how you, from your design, how from your design you can make anything easy. Um, a lot of times people are suspect of things that come easy. They say things like easy come, easy go. Or they give you things that almost is like this false religion of the grind and the hustle, and especially the entrepreneurial world want to heap up upon you like this whole outwork everyone in sight. And they give this whole idea that our heroes built their empires through some insane work ethic and there were no other forces at play. But I'm going to show you that not only were they wrong, but you living in that world actually is just putting you on a bigger hamster wheel, one that you, unfortunately, are building for yourself. But if you can look in a different direction, if you'll be brave enough to look at actually the design of who you are and what you have, it can be easy. Um, doesn't mean that it's going to come without work. It doesn't mean that it's going to be, like, oh, like it's going to be instant results. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means you were made to succeed. And we're going to dig into three big ways today that you can basically take anything and make it simple. But before we do that, I've got to start with a night. It was a foggy night back in April 14th, 1912. During this time, Captain Edward Smith was on top of the world, top captain on the top ship with the richest people with him. And that night, Captain Smith gets a notification, and the notification was from the SS California, and they said, "Hey, listen, iceberg warnings ahead. You probably should do some things to avert and avoid icebergs." Now, any other normal captain in any other normal ship would have taken precautionary measures. They would have posted extra lookouts on the bow of the ship. They would have slowed their speed. They would have changed their course just slightly so that they didn't go into the most dangerous parts that were spoken at by the SS California. But Captain Edward Smith happened to have been on the Titanic. And the problem with Captain Smith was he could have chosen a way that was easier, but he was thinking, well, how will that make me look? And not only how will that make me look, we actually have something here that's going, like, I'm going to prove something. Nothing can stop us. This thing is unsinkable. So be done with all of this precaution. He kept plowing forward, maintained his speed, did not put the extra lookouts on the bow, and of course, we know, struck an iceberg, and just hours later, the unsinkable ship had sunk. 1,500 souls had been lost. And not only that, the ship alone cost $200 million in today's money to build. There was untold wealth on that ship. And of course, the people that were there all lost. They were lost because somebody couldn't listen to the advice of another person and choose a different path. I hope that as we look at where we're going, that you're willing to reevaluate, you're willing to adjust these three spots of your life so you can avoid some of your icebergs, so you can stay out of danger, but really more importantly, you can stay in tune, because opportunity meets the person who is ready for the opportunity. So I would say one thing before we even get into the three things is a lot of times when we look at something that's easy, because of our Puritan roots, because of the ways of those who came before us, our forefathers back in the 1600s, they viewed everything good. They were very stoic in their philosophies, and they said that only difficulty brings about good things. And that caused us to doubt things that might not be so difficult. So as we look at what we're looking at, I want you to understand, like, remove doubt for a moment, and don't allow that to be what dictates what you will and what you won't do. Now, at the same time, don't look for the easy way. Don't look for that sticker you can just slap on something, or the duct tape you can slap on something and forget about it. Too many people are doing that right now, and they're falling to the perils of, right now in our generation, AI, which is making more clones out of people than ever before on the face of the planet. Like, we all know when someone is posting something or emailing something and it came from AI, right? Hey, here's how you can create 40 posts in 1 hour using AI. Great. And now you've just become invisible. So we're not talking about making things easier that way. What we're talking about is taking things and actually connecting them with your true design. So to do that, we've got to be open to the idea that perhaps you need a compliment. Perhaps you need a sweet to your sour, right? Everyone knows that peanut butter needs jelly, and bread probably too, right? Batman needs Robin, right? The beer and popcorn. I don't know. Laurel and Hardy. There are so many things that go together, and they're better together. And so you need to know what that together mark is for you, because it can accentuate and allow for what is naturally there to be ushered out. You are gifted and called by God. The problem of what's here is a lot of us have blockages from whether it's methods that other people have given to us, or it's beliefs that we have, or it's actions that we're refusing to do, that we're oftentimes covered up. I'm going to help you to make that easy right now. And so the three ways, the very first way I'm going to talk about is framing. And actually, there was a quote, and I meant to have it pulled up for you, and I'm just going to have to give it to you as I heard it. My wife and I were discussing something that we've been thinking about doing for a while, which is a type of fast together. And then we realized that this season of the Catholics was coming up, where they do Lent. Now, we're not Catholic. My wife was born Catholic, but we realized that this was coming up, and in the process of us doing just some fasting, we were looking at different types of fasts. And I've done plenty of fasts, plenty of water fasts, juice fasts, and all kinds of things. It's just been a part of my lifestyle. But this was different. This was a longer term fast. So the way that Catholics do it is they will on Ash Wednesday. By the way, just before Ash Wednesday, when they give up all these things, is Fat Tuesday. When they're eating and drinking and doing all of this, I don't want to say debauchery, but they're just filling themselves up with all of the stuff that they won't have for 40 days, 46 days, actually, to be exact. Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, and what they do is they give up meat, they give up sugars, they give up drinking, they give up, like, basically certain conveniences and certain pleasures. And so for a lot of them, that's what that looks like. And we wanted to kind of, I don't want to say one up it, but we've created our own version of it. And mine would probably look more like reverse Ramadan, or reverse, what do you call that? What's the fasting that all of the people do? Intermittent fasting. Mine would resemble that. So I know that my fitness guy is on here, so you're probably gonna like want to choke me off of this, but I'm following the routine my fitness guy gave me, which is 30, 30, 30. But then it's followed by a protein breakfast, and then just water and black coffee for the rest of the day. A little bit of black coffee. And the interesting thing about well, let me bring it to what tipped us over the edge about this was a quote from a guy named Jonathan Roumie. And if you have not seen the Chosen series, it's a Christian series, very well done. And it's about, Jesus is in it, but it's actually about the people, his disciples, his just wretched, broken people that he chose to follow him. And it's a lot about their stories. But The guy who plays Jesus in that was on a podcast that we were watching, and he says and he was discussing Lent. So it was Ash Wednesday, on the day of the podcast, and one of the things he said was an amazing thing about people is that we have the ability to give or assign value to things. We have the ability to assign value to things. And that includes, in this case, suffering. And he goes into like every time my stomach hurts, it's a prayer to God, and I say a prayer to God. Or every time, like he goes through some of the moments, and it's interesting because the interviewer took him into a place of saying, well, there's so many great health values of a fast too. He's like, yeah, but like there are people who do things for a health reason. The reason I'm doing this and I'm framing this is because I'm assigning this pain a value. I'm assigning a pain a value, and the value is not that I'm going to be skinnier. The value is that I'm connecting to God. And in my ability to actually frame our pain is an amazing superpower. I've been on this now for like 16 days, something, I don't know, 16, 17 days. And it is, I've been doing that where it's the framing of this moment is for you, God. And this moment is because I know I've got a clear mind. There's an intention and a purpose that is, and an intensity that comes from something like that. That's different from all of the years prior where I've done intermittent fasting and all of that stuff. This is just so different. The value is assigned differently. I remember when we came back from Mexico, the last place we stayed at, the person that we rented a place there, and she basically took our thousands of dollars from us that we had placed as a security deposit on the home that we were staying in. And it became very evident after we were battling for trying to get our security deposit back. We did everything that was asked. It became very evident that Maria had no intention of giving us our American dollars back. She knew there was nothing we could do, and she was just going to take it. And for a while, there was some bitterness that went along with that. For a while, there was just anger. There was I almost went out and bought, I found their website domain and I could have bought it from underneath them, the one that actually advertised for the home that they'd rented to us. And I was going to buy it, and I was going to put on there, I was going to build this website that says, my houses are a ripoff and in the worst reviews. Like, I could have trashed her. And I'm so glad I didn't. Instead, what we chose to do was frame the suffering as a gift. We framed her taking from us as us giving to her. As a matter of fact, even Jesus did this. Like, I'm not saying that this is like quintessential or like on anywhere on that level, but he said like, oh, no one takes my life from me. I give my life. And so even when you're in a place where it looks like something is taking from you, you have the ability to reframe that and say, no. That's not doing that to me. I give this. And in a variety of situations, this can be applied. Right? The moments in between calls. Maybe you're someone who is recruiting, or you're trying to sell, or you have this conflict that you're doing. My ability to actually, I remember working with my team, my ability to actually have conflict changed when I was able to reframe my mindset to say, this is me loving them. This is me caring for them. And so I was able to now have a conversation that was very uncomfortable for me to have. I fired, during my time at that company, I fired more people than anyone there. As a matter of fact, I asked to be the person firing people because I knew that I was coming in with compassion and love. And I felt like what I was doing was an act of love. And so the reframe, so you've got to be able to reframe and be in control of what you're doing. when there was a point where we were climbing out of debt and taking care of credit score. And so what we did was we had these dumb little bills that were just chasing us around. And instead of saying, like, we had like a veterinarian bill, we had a that we hadn't paid. We had um, a gym membership that they shouldn't have kept charging us, but they did. And we wanted something like, this is our new house, this is our new car. And what we did was we said, instead of saying, oh, we're paying the vet bill, it was like, oh, this is our car bill. Oh, this is our house bill. And so the reframe amazingly, first off, made us feel great. Next off, it actually, I don't know how, but it accelerated our results. So in everything you're ever going to do, it's like it is the feeling and the belief that's inside of you that is more important probably than anything. So number one thing that you can do to make anything easy is reframe. And instead of actually feeling like, oh, so I gotta do this, just like find a way. I know it sounds trite, but be thankful for it for some reason. Connect with it for some reason. If you're working a job that you don't like working, if you're working with a team that you don't like working, it's like you don't maybe you don't always have to continue to opt in, but find a way to reframe it as giving to the people of the future. If you have a bunch of people on your team you don't like right now, maybe you are learning something that you can give to the next group of people, right? Reframe what you're doing. Mindset and belief connects you and helps you to feel what you're doing. So that's the first thing. Next thing, systems. Systems will make it easy for you to, it's a compliment to you to actually build what you're looking to build. I heard a story recently of someone who was in a 1999 convention where Jeff Bezos spoke, followed by Warren Buffett. Jeff Bezos got up there and spoke and says, oh yeah, we've got this system, and it's like we're sending books, and we can send books anywhere and everywhere. But the whole reason we're doing this book thing is so we can figure out where to put the warehouses, how the logistics work. And so now once we can send books pretty simply and have a system for it, we know we can just flip the switch and we can send anything. And people could have invested back then in Amazon. And of course, Warren Buffett got up there and says, unbelievable. This guy thinks that his place with no physical locations, he thinks that it's more valuable than Sears. And he continues to thrash Jeff Bezos and what Bezos is doing with Amazon. Can you imagine that? Even like the leading minds sometimes will not understand the systems that you're going to make. But if you create a system, you can create simplicity. So one of the things that areas where I've failed at, and I'm going to go physical here, but this goes into your money, it goes into your health, it goes into your relationships. Systems, all a system is a promise. And if you remember from last week, a promise we said is a pro, meaning before, mitere, meaning mission. It's a mission we speak before. That's a system. And a system just says, before my money ever gets here, this is what I'm going to do with it. Before my day ever begins, this is what I'm going to do with it. Before anyone ever comes to me with a problem, this is what I'm going to do with it. And so having a system, a promitere, something we know that we're going to do before it happens, a promise, if we know what we're going to do before it happens, it removes all of just like the tangle of emotions that get involved. Because if you don't know what to do, all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I don't know what to do. And you go fight or flight. You zero in on like this whole thing of getting something done now. But if you had just had a promise, a system beforehand, it would have made things so much easier. There was a text I sent to someone actually last week that goes along with this. And the text says, oh my gosh, you got to hear this one. Your system is perfectly designed to give you the results you are getting. Your system is perfectly designed to give you the results you are getting. So what are your results? It's based on the system you have. A system is, it's that programming ahead of time before it gets there. Now, if you go on default, you're going to have what you have right now. If you think of a system, you can create something. Now, have a simple system and have an enjoyable system. One thing that's happened in this deal, this whole breakfast only for me, is like sometimes I'm preparing my food the night before. Sometimes I'm not a food prepper. I'm not like one of these guys, but it's been easy. It's been enjoyable. I'm cutting onions up. I'm getting my proteins. I'm getting all of this stuff. I'm getting it ready. The other thing that's made it enjoyable is a challenge that's come from Jared Musson. Just a shout out to you, my brother, Jared Musson. The He's basically a fitness coach and a friend for like forever. But Jared challenged me with a 30-30-30. So wake up 30 minutes, within 30 minutes of waking up, have 30 grams of protein, and go on at least a 30-minute walk. Easy. I can do that. I've been doing it. And it's been a part of what's dictating my life. And today, even though I'm driving 4 hours to see a basketball game tonight, I'm getting my steps in before I go. The other part is I have a challenge with someone else on here, Eric. I don't know if you're here, but I have a challenge with Eric where I'm doing 10,000 steps a day. So these are the two things I'm building systems around my promises. So build systems around your promises. That's another way you're going to make things simple, and it's going to make it easy, right? Like, why take the hard way? The final thing I want to talk to you about is surrounding. Okay, so your surrounding determines behavior. You'll have moments where you're feeling strong and moments where you're feeling weak. Why leave it to chance? First off, if you believe that you want to do something, let's just say working out, let's say making phone calls, let's say whatever it is, make it convenient. It should be in your surroundings. So one of the people on here I'm working with, and we both have, and I'm not finding line. Here's the preliminary. You can't see the list. This is a list of people to call. And if you want to call people, if calling people is an important thing for you, put it in your surroundings, make it convenient, put it nearby you. Okay. If eating and how you eat and what you're doing is important, then you put it in your surroundings. So you make it convenient to do the good things, make it inconvenient to do the bad things. And then I would say create a surrounding, give yourself the permission and importance and value so that your surroundings reflect what it is that you want to create for yourself. All of us are going for a feeling in what we're doing. So how can you make your surroundings, in a way, create a surrounding that gives you the feeling that you want to feel on the regular basis? If you love being in the place where you're at, your surroundings will make it easier to do the thing. So if you want to get into flow, there's some other things we can do. We can have timers in our surrounding. We can have we can have games in ours. We can have all kinds of things that are in our area that contribute, that can make things easier. Now, here's the good thing. All of this is locked up in your design. Your design needs a complement to bring out its flavor. And that's where coaching comes in. That's where these moments of question and answer comes in. That's where our one-on-ones come in, the one-on-one strategy sessions come in. That's important for you to be able to approach these things with questions. And so hopefully you're looking at these areas. If you can look at these areas, it's your mindset, your belief, which is the framing in giving, assigning value. It's your systems and it's your surroundings. If you can do these things, it's going to absolutely make anything easy, and you can do it by your design so that, hey, you're going to work anyway. May as well whistle while you work, and you may as well get the fruit that comes from doing it the way you were made to do it. Hope this helps.